everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to Authentic Black Goddess TV. And also thanks to those of you tuned in on the QueenAShakur TV show. I'm your host, QueenAShakur, and this is the third dose of your daily vitamin. So I have an exclusive interview I'm going to be doing with Miss Kim Page, who recently ran for mayor in Laurel, Mississippi. She's going to be giving us some details about some of the racial bias that has been going on down there, amongst other things, with the Black people and the police department, okay? So everyone, let's get those fire emojis in the chat, okay, while I bring Kim on. All right. Hey, Kim, let me up the screen. Okay.
Good evening.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Look, we're going to get it together one way, right?
Okay. All right. So everybody, this is Miss Kim Page. As I told you, she recently ran for mayor of Laurel, Mississippi. She's not a politician. She simply ran because she wanted to make things better in her community. So before we get into the nefarious details of some of the things that have been going on with the police, Black people and the racial bias and those things, and also Hispanic people have been having a hard time down there also. But I want Kim to start off by telling you all some of the things that she does in the community to try to, make things better. Go ahead, Kim.
Good evening, and thank you so much, Miss Queen, for having us on. We are basically paging the streets. We rebuilding Laurel, one business at a time, one parent at a time, one child at a time. Our goal this year is to bring as many businesses together to partner, to branch off within the city of Laurel to bring money here, and also for them, they've been sponsoring our support system we've had this summer for the kids reading program. So our kids are failing. Our school district is an L-City school district. So we are solely concentrating on the kids' reading and comprehensive skills, and also letting the parents take advantage of it. This opportunity for better reading is for the community.
Okay, that's all good. That's really good. I applaud you for doing that, because some people put in any work. So now let's talk about some of the things that have been going on as it pertains to the police brutalizing Black people or being racially biased, towards Black people, and some of the recent incidents, as well as any others you might want to discuss.
Yes, ma'am. You have to be blind to miss it. And the thing about it is cover-ups. And it's the unsolved murders that go like it's no care, it's overlooked. Mm-hmm. We have a mother, Miss Shakila Page. Her son was killed last year. Lil Rob Jr. Lil Rob was murdered, and his mom was told that they don't do interviews or investigations until after 2 weeks, until someone comes in. So per Chief Cox told this to the mother of the victim. Mm-hmm. And to this day, she has no justice, no report, no updates. They don't communicate with us. And this is the thing, like, we have a lot of officers that live on the outskirts of Laurel, whether they're in the Jones County area, if they're from another city. The problem we're having, majority of them do not know us in the community. There's no community policing. We have more roadblocks than anything. We have someone who put in a grant just solely for the officers to get overtime for roadblocks instead of community policing. So that's another thing we're trying to work on, is a grant also for community policing. Because we go before City Hall, we go before the mayor. Not only have citizens went before the mayor and made complaints, officers have went before the mayor and made complaints. So it's a lot of things that's being swept under the rug, and then a lot of things, the cheeks have been turned. And the more they turn the cheeks and the more they sweep things under the rug, people are in danger. We have an opportunity really to, work together. And we've been reaching out to them, set up the GoFund, not the GoFund, set up the police reform, set up the no-knock warrants. This protects the officers and the citizens.
Right.
you know, but they'd be quick to write you off grant money to get you out the face, but they won't write grant money for centers. They won't write grant money for community policing. We have voter registrations on weekends, and they set up within 50 yards of the voter registration with roadblocks. You know, last year was an important movement for the entire world, looks like it. So here last year was a case that was swept under the rug, and the victim name is Michael Thomas. And when the video come out, he was shot in the back. And at that point, you know, it was time. You know, what else is going to happen?
Now let's
what
talk
else are we doing?
Case. Explain what exactly happened that led up to him getting shot in the back. But before you get into that, hold on, let me say this. So when the young man was killed, right? And you said the police told the family they take 2 weeks before they start investigating. Now, who are they? Did they say they were waiting on experts, forensic specialists? Did they say who they were waiting on? They were waiting on gossip. See, this police department is controlled by he say, she say. So they wait for people to come to them with this, that, whether it's true or not. Right. They don't give a full 100% investigation. Yeah. The mother did not get any type of closure for Lil Rob. The family, the grandmother, the uncles, like they really solely want justice. The mother has done an interview with me before, and you can find her on Facebook, Miss Shakila Page, and she's hurt, you know. So my point in this with the run, you know, it wasn't about the win, it was about the movement. You know, at this point now, it took us to start somewhere and to get here to realize that we are the leaders. That's the right. Parents. So we just solely asking for more mothers. You know, I really talk to young mothers. I really try to reach them because I want them to get more involved in the community because their babies are young. Right. You know, so the more you know, the more you can protect them. You know, I wish I had somebody to tell me in my 20s, you know, hey, be more interested in the school board, you know, be more interested in City Hall. So I just try to get that back to the young ladies to be more interested in the upbringing of their kids and be more aware that we're not picking on anyone. If you can't read, we here to teach you. Right now, what we're trying to do is rebuild Laurel, and that's solely everyone entirety in the city of Laurel. We've helped in domestic violence. We've had a drug facility to reach out to us as well. We're working out with Tender Touch daycare here in Laurel, and it's an adult daycare, and it's solely about the same thing: the entertainment, the activities for the elderly and the kids to come out. We getting programs started with the teachers workshop and student reading and Bible class, and that's solely to put people in different positions. So we're not able, even you, Queen, we're not able to walk through these doors, you know, as many platforms that you have and you cover this and that. We're not able to walk through, you know, these doors as many other people may be able to. You know, we have local writers that get looked over, musicians, artists, you know, the young kids that do rap. You know, you won't give them, you charge them $600 for a building. Where can people really afford $600 to come out to a building and then have to recover money, pay money for security? You know, it need to be something set up for the kids. You all getting the money at the top and people still at the bottom suffering. What are we doing? That's right. So it's time to bring light on everything. We need help here. Our kids need centers here. We don't have not one boys and girls club. Yeah, we don't have any after school programs. And when I say our kids, I mean Black, Caucasian, not Native American, Hispanics, Latinos, nothing. Mm-hmm. Yes, we have nothing. And now here's the thing. So as it pertains to them talking about they had to wait 2 weeks. First of all, when the police are investigating a crime, especially a murder, they're supposed to get all the most crucial evidence within the first 48 hours. And then it makes it more difficult to solve the case. So it sounds like they don't really want to solve these cases. And now this has happened on several occasions, right? Where they have not, you know, investigated cases of people found dead. Several. Does anyone in the town, I'm not going to ask you, But do you think people in the town, any of the people think that maybe the cops are in on some of this stuff, maybe? That's just what I'm wondering. Yeah.
You know, anywhere you go is who you know.
Right.
You know, like I was telling, we always talking. We was talking, you know, a couple of weeks ago about respect. You shouldn't have to know me just to respect me. You know, people at the schoolhouse mistreat your children because they don't know you, and they praise the grounds of the ones they know. And it shouldn't go like that. You know, you should respect me because that's the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
And that just goes on everywhere, not just this police department. And, you know, we can't, I'm sorry to say, you know, we got some good officers. And like I said, a lot of officers have made complaints. And, you know, even their complaints haven't been met about, you know, to the table. So we're not, you know, going after anyone personally. And you come to a point where you want to defend yourself, but we're not attacking you personally. When you put that uniform on, we're solely talking about what you're doing in that uniform.
That's right.
And if you ain't doing something right in that uniform, we're calling you out on it. So that's basically, you know, what we have going on. They taking it personally. And we're not, I don't care what you're doing at home. I don't care what you're doing when you take that uniform off. But have that dash cam on. Have that body cam on. Because I'm at a point now, you know, like, you know, when you were speaking about the Hispanics, you know, they come in bruised. And the first thing we see is resisting arrest. And we go, oh, that's why. But where's the body cam?
Right.
You know, now we need to see if they solely resisted arrest.
So they're not finding any proof, just other than what they say. Other
than the bruises on their face and the documents, you know, that what they were booked for, resisting arrest. How we know they resisted arrest? Right. How do we know? How do we know?
Exactly. How would you know if they don't even have dash cam or body cam footage that they show anybody?
I mean, they have them, but they don't present them. I mean, when they go to court, they just charge with this stuff.
So and anything, and to cover their own butts. So tell us more about the young man that was shot in the back. Now, what led up to that altercation with the police?
Okay, Mr. Michael, he and his passenger, they were getting off of work. And they went through a roadblock and was asked to pull to the side. And he explained to them, you know, that they was getting off of work and they were just heading home. They was like, where y'all going? You've been drinking, smoking, whatever. He was like, I'm telling you, we just got off of work and we're headed home. So the officers had them to get out, and they got out, and it was a pill bottle. And Michael explained to him, it's meds. It's mine. It got my name on it. I hadn't had it since earlier. It's an antibiotic. He explained it to him. So before long, parts of the video, from my understanding, from the victim, you know, not the person, you know, recording that took a year to bring this video forth, but from the victim, that parts of the video is missing when he was on the ground being beat. Really? So when he got up to run, you know, when he ran from the officers, they shot him in the back. And after they shot him, they kicked him and they tased him multiple times.
Wow.
And Mr. Michael, he hadn't been able to work since. He really, you know, people have to take their time with their stories. They give us permission to, you know, make sure people don't forget them. Right. So, you know, he's been also stopped. We have a lot of victims that are victim of police brutality here that face charges, even as a victim.
Now tell me about that. So keep them to shut up so they won't talk about it, perhaps.
A lot of them don't come forward. We have videos and victims that we've talked to that just will not come forward because they face felony crimes. And behind the crime that they were victims, right. they facing felony crimes. So like, and this is the biggest problem, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. But so like, when they pull them over and brutalize them or whatever, then they charge them with something like assault and resisting arrest. a felony
And it never comes off.
Wow, are you serious?
It never comes off.
So they always had
that. Even when they're found in the wrong, it never comes off.
Okay, so that's like just hanging over their head. So if they ever decide to try to sue or just come forward with the media or anything like that, they can still go ahead and charge them with that. That's like dirty policing. That is real dirty.
But a lot of them are still charged with felonies.
Wow.
And like I say, Mr. Michael, he hadn't worked since. And we would love for him to come forward. We want to set him up a GoFundMe account, and we want to help him because they, in the killer part about it, the BS attorneys that we have here in the city of Laurel that's working against these people, against clients, you're going to start eating dirt pretty soon because people are starting to go outside of Laurel for attorneys just to get justice. So what are you going to be doing in the inner city? Quit being dirty, get honest money because people spend honest money to get robbed.
Right.
To get robbed and they still in the system. People down here pay fines for the same tickets like 3 times. Oh, we can't find it. But they keep coming up in the system for the same thing.
So you mean they're paying, and they're saying that they can't find where they
Yes. We have people that have paying on the same ticket, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That is insane.
Highway robbery. We have men that go to prison 15, 20 years and come out on over $20,000 for the same crime.
Wait a minute now. So you mean some they go to prison and then when they get out, they're in debt because they still owe for something? Like restitution?
Contempt of court.
Contempt of court? What do you mean? Like they didn't show up for court or whatever?
Like they didn't show up for court, but they was in prison for 15 years. Yes, ma'am.
What?
Yes, ma'am.
Really crazy. So they're locking them up and scheduling them court dates that they know they're not going to be able to come to.
They're not coming. They in prison. You already done sentenced them. But they get out still on fines and on probation for,
Somebody needs to reach out to the justice departments.
Yes.
Somebody needs to do that because you know what? They're going to continue to do these things. That's a little small town. If nobody's saying anything or getting out to people, that they can do something about it. You know what I'm saying? This probably needs a federal investigation from the sounds of it. Now, tell me about the other young man that was beaten by the police. Why you sent me the pictures of?
Yes, Mr. Barnett.
Right. Now, what happened with him?
Mr. Barnett turned away, and actually this didn't happen in Laurel or Jones County. Laurel Police Department chased him over on another jurisdiction, and they beat him once he stopped. And he faces a felony as well, and they beat him, and they were let go, but they had the opportunity to be let go. They wasn't fired. One of them left here and went a couple of miles north and killed a black woman.
What?
Yes, ma'am.
He left. He either got fired or resigned. Nobody really knows the truth of it. Probably resigned because
he went and got another job.
Got him another, and then killed a black woman. How long afterwards did he kill another? Kill a woman?
It was in months
later. Now, how did he end up killing her?
He shot her.
Wow. And what was the reason? He stopped at a traffic stop or something?
Oh no, they were dating.
Oh, okay, they was dating. Did he get arrested for it at least?
Oh yeah. Actually, both of the officers were taken to court on Mr. Burnett's case and found guilty from the county that it actually happened in.
Okay.
But she's going to have justice.
That's really crazy. Okay, I'm gonna show these pictures of Mr. Burnett. Everyone, please get the likes up. Please like and share the video. Make sure you subscribe to both the channels if you haven't done so already. Okay, so this is the young man that was beaten. I don't know if y'all can see that his bruises and scratches on the side of his face. And then right here, you can see one of his eyes is swollen shut. And then you can get a better view right here. The bruising on his face. Now, what did you say they stopped him for? When he had the confrontation?
Well, he didn't go through a roadblock, so they chased him. So when he turned around, they, you know.
Oh, okay. So if you see a roadblock and you decide you don't want to wait or you just don't want to go through it, you turn around so they'll come get you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all crazy. And so the thing is, now, hold on. Before I go on, tell me about the Hispanic men that were coming home from work. What happened to them?
Now, I don't know if they were coming to or from work for sure. I just know that it was late night hours. Within 2 hours, like I say, they hadn't gotten back with us. One family member had, but it was late night, and you know, from the looks of everything, you know, they were beat.
So they look like they were beaten.
Oh yeah.
And so why did the officers say that they stopped them? A roadblock?
You know, officers don't give us interviews, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't talk to us, but it's okay.
And so
but
now,
it's okay. You know,
these two men were riding together?
No, these are two separate, 2 hours apart.
Okay, so it was one Hispanic man, he got stopped, and then he was beaten. And then the other one came like 2 hours later. Obviously,
we don't know. You never know the location. You just know they're in jail, and that's what they're in jail for.
Okay.
Yeah.
How often do they set up these roadblocks, and where do they locate them? Is it
did you get the screenshots of the roadblocks that I sent you?
I probably
I sent you. Well, I think you text back one of those, and I said roadblocks.
Okay.
So when you do get a chance, go back and look at that. Anytime they want to set up a roadblock, they can by law. Anytime they want to set up a roadblock. On weekends, like I say, weekends is overtime just solely for roadblocks. Really? So they can set up a roadblock whenever they get ready, and it's no time. We found out that it's not up to an hour, so no one can consider it harassment. It's up to however long they decide to move. No, or we did find this out. If you have a business and the roadblocks are interfering with your money, you will be able to call the mayor, and he will have them to move.
Okay.
Right.
That would usually be in the daytime if they had roadblocks, right?
They have roadblocks all through the night.
That's what I'm saying. I would think they would have them mostly at
24/7.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's mostly, you know, like I said before, and I said again, mostly Black children and Hispanics experience the police the most. They see the police even when they don't want to, even when there's no problem. Our children going through roadblocks on a day-to-day basis. You know, they have events downtown, no roadblocks. Soon as the event is over with, roadblocks set up everywhere in the Black neighborhood. Well, you just left a group of drunks downtown.
Right.
You just left the wine tasting. You just left the crawfish boil. You just left the live show. You know, enjoying yourself. So we're not understanding why it's just solely set up in just one particular area. And we just calling it out. We just want everything to be, you know, call a spade a spade. Right. You know, it's happening. We're no longer, you know, like I tell my people a long time, this last year with the run, we are at fault too. Because at the end of the day, we seen it happening and we was under the shade tree talking about it. You know, this happening and Lord, this happening and this happening. Oh, they closed this down, this closed down, this business is going here. And boom, open our eyes and we have nothing. And we talked about it, but you know, it's never too late. And I just thank the people that's coming out, moving with us, my team, Felix Fenderson, Taisha Wilbington, Tammy Keller, Gina Logan, Rosalind McDonald, Narcette Wilkins. You know, we have a lot of people that we work with, you know, that's coming out with us. And we just thank everybody You know, in the community is coming forward, and it's time. And you know, people may not like for you to say certain things, but I must be honest. If we as Black women don't get in positions as leaders, our Black men and our Black children would not flourish. They will not manifest. Nothing that we touch will grow if we don't get in certain positions and get our mind right. You know, when it comes to our family,
That's right.
you know, if in that, you know, I just hate to be honest, but if we don't wake up, and it don't matter if you're 50 years old and you hear this, wake up. It's not too late. You know, we can't depend on ages anymore. Well, I don't feel like this. I don't feel like that. If you're not tired at the end of the day for doing stuff with your children and in the community, you hadn't did nothing. So we solely need help here. We're not attacking a police officer. We're not wanting to cause harm on anyone. We solely asking for peace and to get along. More community policing. It's no way that you can come to me in elementary and with donuts and hee and ha and the fire trucks and setting off the police cars, and in 15 years you quick to throw my face to the ground.
Right.
It's no way. No way. So we just asking for peace, respect, get out here and know us.
They very seldom use community policing these days, unfortunately. Now, tell me about when you all had a protest or something downtown and there was a sniper in the City Hall window.
Yes, we had a peaceful protest with Black Lives Matter here in the area, Black Lives Matter, Mississippi. And solely peaceful. We had the elderly leading the line, the children was protesting. We had the victims, you know, that wanted to speak, you know, here in town. We had speakers, volunteers that came from around different places just solely to protect us. We had guards, and it was peaceful, and it was sad that we had to gear up because we got threats from Senator McDaniel calling war, he and Chief Cox, on the city of Laurel. And so now we're having to guard. They got us in the form of the women and children in the center, you know, and we're marching. We're doing this peaceful march. We're marching for Markel Thomas, you know, people being beat just all over the world. Like, let's get together. We marching, y'all. Let's do it. We walk up through town and we have pictures. You have the picture, I believe.
Yeah.
The sniper. We had 3 of them on us, but we was able to get the one in City Hall. He was sitting in the window with the smoking whatever he was smoking. You can see this, and this is on a Saturday. So we like, City Hall locks up at 5 o'clock. Who let them in?
Right.
Who?
Somebody had to.
You got that picture?
City Hall shouldn't even been open, period.
You got that picture?
Yeah. Let me pull it up real quick. And then I also want to talk about this, the Mississippi Election Commissioner, when she said y'all was down there having an uproar about that voting.
And they still in office. They still got their job.
Real crazy. Everyone, Get the likes up. Please like and share the video. Subscribe to the channels if you haven't done so. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at QueenAShakur. Let me see if I can enlarge this. Also on Brighton and Patreon at QueenAShakur.
And thank you so much, Queen.
Yes.
For having Laurel, Mississippi on the nationwide view.
No problem.
I'm gonna have to give you a nickname though. That Queen you say Shakur. Did I say it right?
Shakur.
Oh, see, that's why I give nicknames. Queen.
Everybody calls me Queen. It's hard for most people.
Okay. You don't lie with Queen.
I'm looking for that. I just saw it. Hold on.
I don't know what that is.
Large. Okay, so this one, people, I'm gonna share my screen so you all can see the sniper And what did the police say about that when you all asked why they had a sniper up there? Because that was all unnecessary.
Oh, they just stated that that the building wasn't supposed to be open. You know, we went to the mayor, and he was stating that that window don't supposed to be open at no point in time. But this was on a Saturday, so we were still trying to figure out into this day, like, but how did someone get in? You know, like, how did someone get in on a Saturday? Did they go in Friday before they closed
and stay all night?
Did they stay overnight? You know, did they get too hot and have to, you know, hold the window up?
They're just not telling who did it. That's all.
But you can clearly see someone is in the window of the City Hall building. Yes, ma'am.
You can definitely see somebody there. But so they had no answers for that. Okay. So let's talk about this. I'm going to read this article real quick about this commissioner. Mississippi election commissioner states the blacks, that's what you call y'all. The blacks are having lots of events for voter registration and causing an uproar.
Yes.
This
that's
was
what she said.
2020.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It says an election commissioner in Mississippi has made the news last week.
How you make the news on it?
Right. Saying she was having concern because the blacks are having lots of events for voter registration. This is according to Jason McCarty. Now, who, according to his Facebook page, is a public health care advocate, and he had posted a screenshot of a message that revealed a quote from Jones County's Gail Harrison Welch, who is the election commissioner. She says, "I'm concerned about voter registration in Mississippi." This is what she wrote on Facebook. "The blacks are having lots of events for voter registration. People in Mississippi have to get involved too." She says, and those kinds of things, it's those kinds of things that people say until somebody brings it to their attention, and then it's not what they said or it's what they meant. This is what Senator Juan Burnett said, whose district includes part of Jones County. Says, "I don't know if she is racist or not, but it's just the undertone and the stuff of what people say that gives the illusion that that's what you are." So she says, "We've always in the past had whites really participating in voting registration, voter registration. So many people don't seem to be concerned about voting now." She also stated that she thought she was conducting a private message. She says, "This was an error on my part. I was just trying to strike a match under people and get them to vote and to get everybody to vote. This was not intended to be anything." So now after she gets called out on it and they wrote up a story about it, she's trying to act like it's supposed to be a private message. But the thing is, why were you talking about it anyway? And why were you mad? Because the black people are trying to do something for themselves.
Exactly.
And she's
especially voting. Or something that they have a right to do.
Right. But okay, it was no problem when white people were the ones getting involved. It seems like she was upset because white people weren't really doing as much as the black people were.
Look, I made a point the other day. You know, as long as we couldn't read, we was good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people that wanted to read, they got caught with books, they were beaten, and those that knew how to read were killed. So look, I made a point of us, you know, our children being numbers, even us, we're just a number.
Right.
Because they're passing our children, and when they get to the high school, the last year that it doesn't matter whether they drop out or not because they consider an adult, whether they can read or not. They've gotten what they need out of them. They pass them through the school year, and these kids can't read. It's still the same thing. They're not concerned with their education. So once you and I get concerned with it, we're wrong. You know, we're in a day's time where they want to kill us, but they'll go to jail for it if they kill us, you know, but they want to do it. We're learning too much. And when you're at a stage of when you're learning too much, you become more dangerous. Because in the state of Mississippi, I didn't, you know, everybody, oh, she this, she that, she's great, you know, she's a community leader, la, 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 la. I didn't become a threat or a problem until I said I was going to run for mayor. And once I decided to run for mayor, oh, her character. So your character doesn't mean anything or play a part until you're able to fit the bar that they fit. You know, white people, they didn't go to school back in the day. They just inherited money from killing and stealing.
Right, absolutely.
You know, let's just be honest. Let's call a spade again. So when it came about in the state of Mississippi, you only have to have a high school diploma.
Laurel.
Hold on, I'm gonna show
Good
this.
afternoon. This morning, I really wanted to come in here and just really go off the hinges because, as he said, what was said in the Law Leader Call. But I really want to go ahead and focus on the programs that we have going on in this community. We are really trying to rebuild Laurel. We will need to come together, and we will need to all still work in the same city, getting things together for the elderly and the children. Now, I don't see anyone here open on, Facebook, the website. Hattiesburg is predominantly every city council meeting. They have their Facebook page open to the public, letting them view what's going on in city council for those that can't make it. Now, for this meeting to go ahead and be, in a forum what is for the citizens and what's going on in the city of Laurel, but instead for a councilman to come in here and bring up Facebook in a city forum that is supposed to be conducting business for the city of Laurel, but yet do not have one Facebook page open live for the citizens. You want us to be involved. We want to be involved with you all. Do not call for us if you don't want to see us. We come in peace when we come in here. We be respectful to you all. We only asking of the demands of the citizens, and that's being overlooked. But yet we can be called out in a newspaper. For what? For coming together. We got summer programs we're working on. We're doing reading programs and Bible studies in this neighborhood. We're setting up programs, doing events for those that need help in the park area, that want to help with the recreation department. We have people here in the city of Laurel that get looked over, construction workers, right here in Laurel that get looked over. We're trying to find them inner city jobs here. I am a comedian. I am a professional comedian. You put some respect on that. I work with highly professional comedians from different places, from Hollywood, all the way down to Hattiesburg, to Birmingham, to Atlanta. My name is solely out here because I am a businesswoman. My Crazy K LLC is under my name, solely under my name. And I take that and I have helped promote businesses in this area. We are doing things that we consider the councilmen that should be doing since they're getting paid to do this job. Yes, Carmichael, I understand. We are doing your job and you get paid for it, and we doing it for free. All we asking is for it to have some respect. And Mrs. Amelia Scott, she's not here. But you put some respect on her name when you talk about her name. That lady, and this morning on my way here, she is helping someone else, a mother, look for employment. What are you doing other than scaling our names in a newspaper? We come here and we help. And to Mayor McGee, congratulations. Congratulations, sir. All we ask is that we can work together and get what we need in this city. We cannot continue to focus on downtown Laurel. Ward 6, that man may have debris in his house. The house burnt down. Ward 6 has debris sitting around the corner from your house that's been there for 8+ years. Burnt down, bricks still sitting there. So instead of taking people's property, help them. Help us. We out in the city. We got a citywide team that do pickup. Get out here and pick up with us, Carmichael. You can shed some pounds. No, don't do that, because it was chuckles at per Law Leader Call. You chuckled. The room chuckled. I want the same chuckles this week, because you should only address city council forums.
That's right.
Well, Mr. Kelly just called out his name, and he didn't get upset, and you didn't interrupt me, right? Respect me. I'm a black woman just as well as anyone else in here. Put some respect on my name.
And I'm trying to give you as much leeway as I possibly can. But can you address your comments?
Kelly said it, and you all did not stop him when he called out George Carmichael. It's just that certain things don't want to be spoke on. And that's the problem. Other things, as long as it's said respectfully, it wasn't respected for me, for my name to be slandered in the newspaper. I did a respectful run. I didn't come for anyone.
Thor.
Well,
That's right.
You told them right, and so now they want to try to shut you up when you said something to Carmichael. But they didn't say what the other person did. So did anything get resolved that day? Or they just try to brush things, under the rug or whatever, just, gloss over it?
Okay, they have ordinances at our city hall where we can't address them and they can't answer none of our questions, so to speak. That way they can't communicate with us. Another way of not communicating.
Right.
Silence, basically. So you tell me, how can 4 city councilmen be on the planning committee and the safety committee? So when the safety committee and the planning committee take it to the board, city council, and if they disagree with it in the planning committee, guess what? They go forth with disagreeing with it. Well, the council meeting said no, and we vote no also. But you have 4 people. All it takes is 4 heads to agree or disagree to get something passed or not to get something passed. Right. And that's the problem. We have to have white allies here in order to get buildings in certain places. Majority of the people that I knew, they had to pay more and or use a white ally to get property, to open businesses.
And that I can absolutely see that, because there was a story I reported on maybe a month or so ago where a Black woman was trying to get her house appraised. She had to get her husband to act as though it was his house so she could get a fair price. That's the things they do. So you absolutely do in these cases. So yeah. With that all being said, let's talk about these Black businesses that were affected by I think it was the railroad tracks or something.
Well, we have Kingston is Ward 3. The South Side is Ward 6. Queensburg is Ward 7. Part of Kingston area across the track is Ward 5. Okay. So I grew up in Ward 4. I grew up in Kingston area, and Ward 6 is one of the wards that's located. Why y'all gave Thor this watermelon? I'm sorry. Move. Move. Where you get a watermelon from? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And okay, I'm back. I think. Yeah. Marcus, please. So the South Side, this is Kingston, this is South Side. As far as you're going south, of course, the further you go south, the further you run into downtown. And the South Side is only across the tracks from downtown area.
Okay.
So Kingston had 2 grocery stores coming up, 3 gas stations, 4 gas stations, whatever, 2 liquor stores, washateer, car lot, cleaners. Like, we had schools. Schools are now shut down. Businesses are not shut down. Go on to the South Side. It was said that they only have to have 9 crossings open per law. You only have to have 9 crossings. Well, they didn't decide to close off the crossings on the South Side until one of the white men and one of the business owners here in Laurel was killed by a railroad incident.
Oh, really?
Well, do you not know how many Black people have been killed by that same train, per se train? It was track.
Yeah.
And it was never closed until a white man got killed.
Wow. So
they closed off the 2 entries and exits. There's no business back there anymore. They used to have a grocery store. They used to have a gas station. It's closed. The pandemic as well, it closed down. They used to have a seafood like restaurant back in the day when you could go in, they're frying, how you go into a seafood market. They used to have stuff like that back in the day. All closed down. And when you come through the area, instead of crossing over like you would normally do to get to the opposite side, you have to go down this strip, and you go around this little, the little circle ramp. They done made it all kind of nice and pretty. And when you go around to your designation, it's taking you solely into downtown. It's no and if bus. I mean, unless you want to hit the highway.
Right.
But when you want to go to the grocery store, we no longer have grocery stores. Queensburg has never had a grocery store. I never, you know, in the days of me living, that they've had convenience stores, but they've never had a grocery store. You know, Queensburg has not had a grocery store. And that's one thing I do want to, you know, regardless of us in and out, that's one thing we want to do, still work on the same stuff of, you know, the ideas for the neighborhoods. And that's an idea that we still want to bring in the grocery store to each area. I think each area should have their own grocery store. You know, look at all the Dollar General. So you mean to tell me we can't get a grocery store in our neighborhood?
Yeah, that needs to be done. That's real crazy. And so people are basically forced to go through downtown, and that's where the roadblocks usually are, right?
The roadblocks are clear of downtown. But
Oh,
the shopping, the money,
it's all downtown.
the furniture store, the clothing store, the grocery stores, the retail stores, you know, business is downtown.
Okay, so that's why the roadblocks wouldn't be there. Yeah, because business owners would be losing money if people couldn't get through. Okay, so that's all crazy. Now tell me about these Hispanic people, how when they have encounters with the police, they can't say anything because they get, threatened with their green cards or something like that.
A lot of them, for one, let me tell you, a lot of them get harassed because they believe that they are not legal. But, you know, we have a lot of legal, you know, Hispanic residents here. And they get bullied, you know. I don't too much want to go into, you know, a per incident because they stay on my live, you know, they stay. And, you know, each incident they'll know, you know, per person you are speaking on, you know, and regardless if they're legal or not, you know, they get more heat than we do. You know, they, you know, overlooked because for one, you know, especially with the Donald Trump mentality that people still have, it made it worse the last couple of years where people have really don't care whether your blood is real or not, you know. So they treat them, it's bad. You know, they treat their pets better, you know, type of situation. You know, people love their dogs, they love their, you know, cats. But as far as human life, they don't treat. We have incidents now where a young lady, you know, we network in the area, so we contacting a lot of people. Well, this young lady, you know, a lot of people do sell food out of their homes before they get established other places. Like people do hair out of their home before they get established, you know, other places. Right. And so this inspector went to, you know, these people's homes, ate the food, left, and come back with the police and find them.
What?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too, because that's not funny, but just the gall of him. So he
just the audacity, that's the disrespect of the whole thing.
Go plate and everything, and then you're gonna come back with the police?
Came back twice.
And so what was his complaint? What was his complaint? He said, what did he say about the?
Well, you know, they gave him a fine because, you know, for one, it is illegal. Well, they wasn't cooking it out their home. You know, you can see them cook the food, how to have their setup. But, right. You know, a lot of people have their LLC and they have to work on their safe serve. And that's the problem where they get a lot of people where they, you know, hey, get this safe serve. Like, hey, but you come here and you eat the food and you come back and find me. That's where we don't understand, you know, the meaning of all that. But as far as the businesses,
slow down in the
and complimented it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, they did. Yes, they did. They complimented the food.
Not for nothing, but that reminds me of how they did the natives when they came to this land, and the natives fed them food and showed them how to grow crops, and then they thanked them by giving them those smallpox blankets, and they all that too. That right. Slow down. That's real crazy.
We just need, and for one, we've been talking about it, we just need to go ahead and do it. We've been talking about getting a group together that where if certain incidents happen, we don't have to mend this person and that person and call this person and that person to get it together. We just know automatically that, this is what we are to do. So
Right.
we're working on an inner city group to start mending some of our own inner city problems with community communications.
Yeah.
It's no longer waiting, on them. It's just sad that so many things are continually, happening here
Mm-hmm.
that we can't catch up in time. Like you're almost there and something else happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, but we're slowly trying our best to get some type of attention, some type of attraction here to help us. Even if they can just come here and organize it.
Okay.
Show us how to organize.
That definitely needs to be done. Another thing, like I said, I do think that someone needs to contact the Justice Department, because you can't have the police policing themselves when they're a part of the problem.
Right.
The good cops sometimes run the risk of, them.
They do.
Something happens to them being threatened.
They do.
Yes, absolutely.
They
That's expected. So, and one thing that I know, and I don't want you to speak on it specifically, because some of the people don't want to talk about their case. But from some of the stuff that I've reviewed, right, on things that happen down there, some of these people are just terrified and don't want to talk about some of the stuff that's going on because of the police being after them. You know what I'm saying?
They still hold certain charges.
Right. Over their heads. Now, tell me this, before we close out, I want you to tell me about that story about the black man who was killed with his head cut off or something. And I know that was in another county.
Yes, it was in another county. Like I said, we get myself and my team, we get a lot of people, because this is what we do. We do not use names. Even when we converting with each other, we say, hey, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's never so-and-so this, so-and-so that, and we know better with each other. We don't cross names even with each other. If you contact me with a victim, my team will never know who the victim is, but they would know the case.
Right.
So we got contacted. Like I say, different people contact us. And this one particular lady contacted us, and she clearly stated that the family is scared and they will not come forward. At this moment, I've gotten as close to the brother, but no answer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the white man, it was a white man that did it. The back story of it, the man was going with the white girl,
Mm-hmm.
and she found out that he was also going with her mother. And she went and told her father. And her father, he handled it. And he turned himself in, and he was out in a week or so.
In a week after decapitating somebody?
He admitted to it. Yeah.
So now let me ask you this. So he cut the man's head off, but before he cut his head off, did he like shoot him or stab him or what?
We don't never, if they give us that, they give us that, but we don't never go, like I said, we didn't get the story and speak with the family. And you got the newspaper clipping, it didn't even go into it.
Right. It was very brief.
So yeah, it was. So, and to protect the white man, they didn't release his name at all.
Yeah, they don't do that. They stay on code. They a lot of cases that I report on, they don't give their names.
Well, they didn't give his name.
But so he was out in a week after turning himself in.
Yeah.
So that's real crazy. And wasn't the man's body like on the porch or something, on the steps?
It looked to be on just outside by dumpster area, something, a vacant area.
Real crazy. And then I think they said he cut the man's penis off in his head, honey. So that's clearly crazy.
Yeah. Like I said, the newspaper, they went into it, but they didn't go all the way, of course.
Yeah, just give a little small bits and details.
Yeah.
And nation, if you ask me.
But you know, it happens, all over the world as well. This is my mother, rest her soul here,
Mm-hmm.
girl. Paige, she was murdered by her ex, of course, ex now. But she was murdered by, her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And he got away with it. So people care for who they care for, so we have people that we have to continue on with the fight. Horace Fenderson, aka Kellett Bow, he was shot in the back of the head. Bullet came out through his eye from LPD, and the officer was not charged at all
Oh my
in
God.
the murder. Yeah.
What about the people? Wasn't there a situation that happened recently? If I recall correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, where somebody was at a party or something and they left, and then the cops was chasing them or something like that.
Which part?
I think the person was at some type of gathering or something, and then somebody said they heard shots, and the person left, and then the police went looking for the person because they thought they had a gun or something like that.
That was Horace.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now what happened with?
Well, by the time they got up to him, he was walking into the yard, and he was facing my cousin. He had a cigarette out, and he went to ask for the light, and my cousin, just not my cousin, it was like 4 or 5 witnesses that was in the yard. And the way that you have to travel to get to the yard, you have to park in the street. It's kind of like Chicago streets. You park in the street, you have to walk in the yard, and you walk up the stairs, you have to walk across the yard to get to the house. Right. Well, he had done did all that, got out the car, walked across the sideway, walked up the stairs, walked in the yard, and was in the yard close enough to the house to ask them for a light, and he was shot in the back of the head. Ooh. And nothing, no justice.
Now, what about that video I saw? I don't know what I did with it, but I saw a video where a man was like he was on his front porch, like he was trying to get in the house, and the policeman was grabbing him. Stuff.
The Moors. You have that video?
I don't know what I did with it. What happened?
Huh?
What happened with that case? It's in what?
Well, they won their case. From my understanding, they're going to court.
Now, so what was the officer?
He had he ended up getting a charge too. It's sad here. It's real sad here. It's not funny, but it's sad. So he was jogging home. He was out working out. He had, workout clothes on. He said, "I'm at home." What you mean I'm working out? They said he put a description, mind you. He's tall, built, 6'3" maybe, 6'2" or not, with long dreads, dark skin, and he didn't even match the description of what they was looking for. So they done chased this man up his steps to his balcony, jumping on him, choking him. The second officer come in, joins in, and while the wife is videoing, they tackle the wife in the door, and that's where the video ends.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is all crazy.
And again, nothing happened to the officers.
Right, as per usual.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole lot going on down there. You all definitely need some attention brought to this stuff. Because like I said, in a small town like that, they'll continue to do these things and it'll just fester. And then, especially when they're levying charges over the people that are victimized and then holding that over their head to keep them from coming forward and telling their stories.
Mm-hmm.
That's real crazy. Well, I appreciate you for coming on here, Kim, and sharing those stories with us. And I'm going to talk to a friend of mine that's an attorney and see what he says or what he thinks, can be done about some of the things going on. But also, are you going to be doing any shows lately with your comedy? Because I want to give people your information if site or whatever.
Okay, that's great. Well, Juneteenth was postponed. Laurel has planned their first Juneteenth. It was scheduled for last week. It was rescheduled for this Saturday, but it looks like the weather, these tropical storms coming through, they may have to reschedule. I'm not sure, but if not, they